We've got Fred and Frank, who are the oldest members of the club, with Tony, who's our chairman, and Eddie, who is the president of the club. They're going to do the honorary cutting of the cake. Obviously got everybody else taking photographs and videos as well.
Okay, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for supporting us today, and it's lovely to see so many old past members as well as our new members here. And I'm thankful for the weather, really. It's been really great. I will say a big thank you to the committee, because this event would not have happened if we hadn't had a full complement and everybody pulling the same way. It's been 2 years in the making, hasn't it, Tony?
It has, yeah.
Yeah, 2 years in the making, and I feel it's been a successful day. Okay. Tony,
I'd just like to reiterate everything that Eddie has said, and just say that really, particularly the former members and the members now, you've all helped the club get to its centenary, and without all of you, and obviously a lot of people who couldn't make it, and obviously some passed away, but we think it's been one hell of an achievement for the club, and we're hoping that it will carry on for some time yet, because the club is in a very strong position. But like Eddie said, I'd like to thank you all for coming along.
Well on,
Thank you. Thank you.
get your hand on that knife, Fred. Tony. Are you ready?
Ready.
All right. Go. There is just one other thing. Most of you are quite familiar with our Fred here. He's sort of, well, art furnishings really in your Fred. Right, yeah. Been for a long time. And we're very happy to have him here today. And if it wasn't for Jenny, well, we would have got him here, but Jenny offered. Jenny was Fred's secretary for a number of years. Here I am, Fred. Yeah. And
My fault.
yeah, she's volunteered to bring it here. So, Jenny, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, carry on and eat all this food up.
Welcome back to our channel. Today we are celebrating the 100 years of the Triangle Motorcycle Club here in Ipswich at our clubhouse, and I'm going to start off with a bit of a walk around the bikes that we've got from 100 years, so at 1925 up to the modern day. Every 10 years. It is a bit windy, so I'm not sure how the quality of the sound is going to come out, but we'll give it a whirl. So the first bike we've got, it's a 1925 Triumph 3 MT. It's one of the earliest bikes that we've got here at the club. And how technology has changed over the years, but still the basics of a frame, engine, tank and a sprung saddle. Next one we've got a 1933 BSA, and again those exhaust chrome then with those, is it fishtail? Yeah, fishtail exhaust. All looking very good. So that's the 1930s. Then we've got the 40s, which is a Douglas 350. And I was speaking to Nick, I think it was his father's bike, and BMW took the idea of the engine, Boxer style engine, from this, and it's been staying there for a long time. But that's the Douglas. Then we've got Andrew's Triumph. Yes, I'm just doing some walkthrough with the bikes and all that kind of stuff. I will grab one a bit later on, thanks. Yeah. No, I had several last night, so but thanks anyway. And we've got Andy's Triumph Speed Twin, 1960s. It's amazing how the mud guards and the rear mud guards to keep all the rubbish off the bike, and obviously the super duper tyres back then. I'm not sure what they're like now riding with tyres like that. So that's that. Then we've got the 1970s Honda CB500T. Not sure what the T stands for, but again, loads of chrome. And I've only just got into the Hondas myself, but a very nice example. Then we're moving on to Nick's fire-breathing. It is a CBR 900 RR Fireblade, his pride and joy. And yes, it still goes. Proper bike with carburetors and all that kind of stuff that need to be tweaked and set and balanced and everything like that. But that's your 90s. And then the 2000s, we've got a nice little Blackbird here in very good nick. Not a mark on that bad boy. Not a scratch anywhere. And another very fine example of bikes 25 years old. And then we're now into the 20s here with, okay, is this Nick's Suzuki? I think it is. It's GSX S GT for the 2020s. And that's the bike's 100 years celebration, all from past to present. And then we've got a couple of, because obviously Triangle Motorcycle Club back then was scrambles and grass track and off-road stuff, quite a lot of that, motorball as you've seen in our previous videos. But a couple of examples of some of the older machinery. KLR 250. That's not too bad, is it, Al? It's not too bad. I wheeled her out today. I wheeled that one out today. Yeah, that's my off-roady one that I just love to have. Yeah, and I don't ride it as often as I should do, but I thought I'd wheel it out today and give it a bit of a thing. But yeah, off-road, it's brilliant. It's okay, these big GSs and that kind of stuff, but a tiny little thing like that you can throw around everywhere, and it's brilliant. So, but yeah, just doing a quick video of the bikes and have a wander around. Of doing that, and then I'm going to go and grab some food in a minute because that looks delicious. You keeping well?
You better be quick, yeah. Better be quick, or all go.
All goes, yes. I'm going to have a wander around there and grab some stuff. So. anniversary of the Triangle Motorcycle Club. Today we've got Pete and Jem, who are going to do a little bit of discussions on their stand and the history of their motorcycling. So over to you guys, gents. Just tell us a bit about the history of how this stand is here now and your history.
Yeah, my name's Pete Rout. This display here is in two sections really. One is Triangle grass tracking. As you know, Triangle used to be very much a sporting club, especially in sort of the 60s and 70s. I raced grass track with Triangle between 73 and 79. The reason I got into that was that having seen Ipswich Speedway start in 69, a couple of years later I fancied to go, and I was told, do grass track. If you're any good, come back and have a trial. You can tell how good I was at grass track because that was 73. And I got on a speedway bike for the first time in 2004.
I was going to say, yeah.
And I've got some photos here of me racing in the album, and also in the album is my complete career winnings, which is £1, and I've still got the one.
Right, right.
So I had a skid round for fun. So this bit here is Triangle grass track size. Got the original sort of late 60s, early 70s Triangle race bib, as demonstrated by one of the riders, Bill Vineyard. Some of the other rides were that on this one, Kevin Teager, who went on to have a speedway career. On here, the first 3 race jackets I made.
Right, and you actually make them?
Yeah, I make them now. I've got a little business that make replica speedway race jackets.
Lovely, lovely.
It started in the 70s. And this is the original bike cover I made for my Ducati grass tracker. But I had a skid round grass tracking, had fun, built our own bikes, jumped on a mate's bikes and packed up. Eventually got on a speedway just as an amateur for 10 years as a skid round. But if I introduce you to Jem, who actually did both grass track and speedway professionally and properly, whereas I just had a skid round. So Jem Doncaster.
Hi, I must confess, one of the questions is, and again I've never done it. So the difference between grass track and speedway, is there a phenomenal difference, or because it all looks scary to grass track, where the speedway seems a bit more controlled?
Yeah, easy. I think the grass tracks are the raw sport, but the bikes are similar. I mean, the engines are fairly similar. Grass track bikes are longer. They've got a gearbox, 2-speed gearbox.
Right.
22-inch back wheel compared to 19-inch back wheel on the speedway bikes. They've got suspension, and the grass tracks are much larger circuits generally, so they can vary between 400 metres to 900 metres. Some of the continental grass tracks 900 metres. So. And
are they specially prepared in terms of the level, or is it quite bumpy?
The centre ones are pretty much as they are, so that they have improved rideability now. So they do sort of do some work on it, roll it, sort of get some graders on it, bring all the to please the crowd more than anything. Stop getting covered in dust. But I mean, to be honest, it's a good transition from grass track to speedway because you can learn your basic motorcycle skills on the grass track bike, and carry them over to the speedway. The speedway's very much disciplined because you've got to be very accurate to where you're turning the bike, control of the bike. So it's a very steep learning curve, but you can pull all the different disciplines to the speedway, and for your track racing skills, that makes you overall a much better motorcyclist, a much better speedway rider. So that's why I did it.
Excellent. And you're still riding now, or?
No, I'm 958 years old.
So you've eased up a bit. You've eased up a bit, but
this is Pete's collection. He's
kept things going. Thanks for that.
I'll say a little bit more about the collection, and also a bit more about Jem, because I know he's very modest. This is part of my collection because apart from making replica race jackets, I collect original, mainly speedway riding gear, whether it's the leathers, the Kevlars, and the race jackets. And now I sort of take those to local shows. I've got 3 old speedway bikes as well from the 50s, 70s, and 80s.
Right,
so
lovely.
Take those round. So what we've got here is I've brought some from my collection, and also Jem has loaned some of his race jackets, original ones. But these leathers here from 1987 that Jem wore through his season with Ipswich Witches, if you go back a bit, Jem's transition from grass track, correct me if I'm wrong, Jem, was the first rider to be signed for a speedway team, never ridden speedway.
No,
By
right.
John
Oh,
Berry.
right,
Is
all
that
right.
correct?
That's right. Yeah.
Because he was
So that was so
far
good,
on
so
the
good on
grass
the
track.
grass track. It
No,
was
Ipswich.
just
What year was that?
1982.
82.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's then with the Witches for a while, well, most of his career. Then went to Reading when we dropped down a league, then came back to the Witches.
That's right. Yeah. I guess I carried on the grass track, the long tracks, and I just go through some of the race jackets here. And that was my first actually world final race jacket in Germany in Herxheim.
right,
And
right.
that was 1984, I believe it was. So you could see how quickly things moved. And in 1982, the same year I signed for Ipswich, I became European grass track champion as well. So I kept the
Kept
sports
it going.
side by side. And this one's, well, obviously I broke the Sunbright lines. I think the Kawasaki won this one. Was the first, and these levers was the first World Speedway final.
All right.
And that is in
87.
That's right. Yeah.
So the grass tracks, Kawasaki's, as opposed to the speedway ones, which are the
Speedway
Jats.
meeting.
Oh, they're
Speedway meeting, but they'd have to meeting sponsors.
oh right. So that was right.
And then going forward 89. Yeah, I had some really good times at Speedway. It's very good to us financially as well. It's be a travel around the world, and it's well paid, it's well rewarded. It's particularly something you love doing.
That's even better, then, isn't it? When you enjoy doing it.
And that was well final in '89. I think the crowd there was one of their biggest crowds they had for world finals. I think was actually in the run off for second place, finished third that day. So
In the World Championship.
they're all thereabouts.
Which is phenomenal, really, isn't it? It's phenomenal to enjoy that. I bet the old heart was pounding when you were doing that kind of stuff. I bet the old adrenaline was going.
Yeah, it's something that you learn how to control, and you have to sort of like make it happen.
Right,
so every
right.
rider has their own little.
86. Yeah.
Brilliant! It's brilliant to see the sort of the history behind some of the sports up and down in the country. But sorry.
Just to finish on
Yep.
to bring it back to the Triangle.
Yep.
Just on the table here, I've got two original programs that when Triangle ran their own grass track meetings. So these were in the late 70s. I actually did the design for the front of the cover.
Lovely.
And the other one, which is, I'll end on a bit of notoriety, back in the 70s when I was in the club, I was asked to redesign the Triangle logo, which I thought was quite good, very 70s, but it didn't go down very well with the more traditionalists in the club. So probably a year, probably 18 months at most, it was reverted back to the triangle with the point
With
at the
the
bottom,
other
as in
way
the
round,
YMCA,
yeah.
which I can understand now all these years looking back.
When they
Why
do
it's been
that.
controversial, but it did work out well, and I did have it on a race jacket.
Right. Yes, I was going to say it's one of those things. But well, no, thanks, gents. Really appreciate your time. And yes,
It's good to be back.
thanks very much.
Yeah,
Cheers.
lovely old job. Thank you.
Coming up to 3 o'clock, and the scouts are now packing up their catering facilities. Absolutely cracking food, so well done, you guys. Thought I'd just have one final sort of walk round, just have a spin through the bikes again. There's still a lot of people here. There's loads of cake and general chitty chatty. Just a last little walk round. That breeze is nice because that sun was absolutely scorchio. But yeah, just a final wander around, and say hello and goodbye to all the people who turned up. All the committee members done a fine job. And there's our gentleman who done the cake cutting. But yes, very successful day. And an awful lot of people were here. All the tables were full. Bars open. As I say, the cake is now to the stage where there's only a few bits left of the cake. There it is. And then all the other stands. Just a final wave. Everybody, just to do the final bit before we do the closing ceremony for the club. But yes, great. It's been a great day.